Okay, so today we're discussing the marketing funnel, what it is, how it works, and near the end, I'll share a standard example marketing funnel. So let's get into it. Hello, my name is Danae. I make marketing simple. If you're new here and you're interested in marketing, definitely consider subscribing and signing up for my free newsletter, The Digital Marketing Diaries, which you can find in the description. So in short, the marketing funnel is the journey your potential customer goes on from hearing about your product to purchasing and hopefully continuing to purchase throughout the years. So you can imagine this marketing funnel as an actual funnel. It's wide at the top and then narrows down because more people will hear about your brand than people that actually purchase. So it continues to get smaller and smaller at every stage. But as it gets smaller and smaller, those people have higher chances of purchasing from you and what we would say in marketing, converting. But as I said in the beginning, it doesn't stop when they purchase. Your marketing funnel can continue post-purchase to increase the chances of people purchasing again because the lifetime value of a customer is extremely valuable. And not only them purchasing again, but also them advocating for your brand in the future. So them marketing your brand for you to bring new people to the top of your funnel and continuing to repeat this process. Now, an important part of the marketing funnel is that your customer cannot move to the next phase in the funnel without going through the stage above it. So they have to go through every stage in order to get to the next and the next and the next. Obviously, they can't engage with your brand until they know about your brand, and they can't learn more about your brand until they're interested in the top of funnel information. And that's actually something I should have explained just when I explained the funnel. You might hear terms like top of funnel, so that's the top of funnel where the audience is large and people are just learning about who you are, and bottom of funnel where people are purchasing. And there's different techniques and mechanisms that people use at top, middle, and bottom of funnel to convert people. What's interesting about the marketing funnel is that you can optimize it for the highest chances of people getting from the top to the bottom and continuing again to take the actions you want them to take based on the feedback you get at every stage, which I'll go through and share examples of throughout this video. So let's start by breaking down the standard funnel from top to bottom. Now, I'm going to use phrases that I use as a self-taught digital marketer, but there's different terminology people use to explain the different parts of the funnels. It's all the same thing, just different phrases. People package in different terms to make it unique to them or their brand or how they teach people. So just wanted to point that out before I begin. So the first part, the top of funnel, the widest part of the funnel, I like to call the discovery phase. So at this stage, people are coming across your product, service, or brand, and they're engaging with it and kind of figuring out whether it's for them. So top of funnel is usually viral social media content, ads, blog articles, influencer marketing, endorsements. So the sort of messaging you would use at this phase is going to be very generic, and the sole purpose is just to get people you think might be or should be interested in your product or service to stop and be like, what is this? And click and visit your pages. That's why I say viral social media content or very broad generic ads. You're not in this part of the funnel explaining in detail the product of your service or explaining in detail the benefits of your product or service and how it uses all these interesting unique aspects to it and all this stuff. You're just sharing maybe something broad or relatable to the type of person that then may be interested in these specific things that you have to offer. So very broad, very generic, tends to be ads, organic social media content, YouTube videos, that sort of thing. For example, YouTube is considered my top of funnel marketing. It's where I share broad, generic, helpful, educational, valuable information to my audience to create a community, to build trust, build authority, etc. But YouTube would be a little bit lower than, for example, my TikTok content. TikTok is extremely generic and broad. I react to commercials, to trends related to digital marketing, but not actually what I specialize in, because the whole purpose is to get eyes on me, to build community, and to get people to know about Danae as a digital marketer. And then if they're interested in the little short videos, then they might want to move on to my YouTube videos, which is still considered, again, top of funnel, but it's a little bit more broad, there's a little bit more context to it. So hopefully that makes sense. So the second part of the funnel we'll call The second like ring here is the engagement phase. So this is where audience, they're not just watching the video, they're starting to interact. Maybe they choose to follow you, maybe they choose to continuously comment, like they're looking out for your next post or the next piece of information they can gather from your brand. Or for example, subscribing to your email list, which is great to segue into me. The next part of my funnel is the newsletter. So you get this content from me on my YouTube channel. You might be very interested in that. My emails are even more personalized and also more specific in terms of information that I share in comparison to this video content. So you're taking the next stage of the funnel to get more acquainted with me and to learn more about me and learn more from me. So engagement phase is where you actually take an action to do something. Top of funnel discovery, oh, this is interesting, what is it? Engagement phase is where you're like, okay, I like this, I want more of it. An example of this from an e-commerce brand might be a website, a link in bio where they do a quiz to figure out what hair type they are so they know what product to buy from your line, or a quiz to figure out what high income skill they'd be good at so they know what course to buy, or something like that. But it also could be as simple as following, engaging, signing up for a newsletter. Those are pretty standard. Or think about e-commerce brands having pop-ups on their sites with 10% off for an email discount. You're gonna engage you, there's potential I might buy from here. I really want this 10% if I'm gonna buy at least, so let me put my email in, you're engaging. So again, the goal of this engagement phase is to share more than what you would share on your more broad platforms where you're just trying to get people to notice you. This is where you get more specific, you share more of your expertise, or you share more of the benefits of what you're selling, but you're not actually trying to sell, you're just continuing to build a community. So now for phase number 3. Phase number 3 is the evaluation phase. This is where people are looking at what you have to offer and comparing it to other people on the market. We live in a world now where there are, 1,000 other products or 1,000 other people selling the same thing as you. So people have the opportunity to choose whether they want you or someone else. So the evaluation phase is figuring out whether what you have to offer is for them. So they might start looking at testimonials, they might start looking at more in-depth information about your product and how it differs. And the goal here in this stage of the funnel is to provide information that curves any objections they might have. So if you sign up for an email list, you might go through an email funnel or an email flow that begins with a lot of value and then it starts to sell a bit, but they're not saying buy my product. They're saying, I know you might be thinking this, but this is why you shouldn't think this, to curb your objection and continuously do that. So by the end, the last email in their funnel or in their flow, you make the decision to purchase. And that will tie into the next phase I'll talk about. But the goal in this phase is to curb objection. So at this stage, you might start to get targeted ads that might show us versus them ads, for example, why you should buy this glass versus our glass. Our glass is this, and this, and their glasses, this, and this. So in order to prove to you that whatever the competitors you're thinking of, or whoever the competitors are that you're thinking of, or whatever they have to sell you isn't for you, we're for you. And in this stage, there might be more exclusive content that you wouldn't really find out on the broader platform. So more information that they think is specific to who you are as a person. In the evaluation phase, or this part of the funnel, you may even receive, for example, a free trial of, let's say if it's a software, you might receive a free trial of it so they can say, hey, this is what you could have if you bite the bullet and you pay us $100 a month, or whatever the case may be. So my evaluation phase would be a series of emails targeted towards people that I'm selling my services to. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a specific evaluation phase at the moment because I'm not taking on any new clients or work, but in the future at this phase, this is where I would start to develop email flows to my list that start to share information, for example, about what I have to offer and why you should choose me over someone else for this specific product, digital product or service that I could potentially sell. Now, it's important to note, and I'm going to get into this later on in the video, that you don't always have to go through this very strategic funnel, because as if you watch my video about what digital marketing is, I really talk about how it's continuously evolving. And now with the creator economy, people building connections with humans, so brands like, for example, Danae Tamia, that's a brand, that's someone like you, people who continuously follow me and have seen my progression and growth and continuously learn from me are a part of and connected to my brand. And the engagement phase, or for example, the evaluation phase, might not have to be as rigorous because there's already a sense of trust, for example. So depending on the product or service, your funnel might not always have to look like this. So I just thought I would share that. So we just covered the evaluation phase. That's nearing the end of the funnel. We're getting closer down the funnel now to the decision phase. Now, this is the crucial phase where people are going to click buy. They're going to buy your product or service. In the decision phase, people are looking for something to push them off the edge. This is where call to actions come into play, last minute discounts. So think adding a e-commerce product to your cart and in 10 days you get a discount for 20% off. They're like, just buy the damn thing, push the button, right? So they're sending that to you because they know you want it, and chances are you're gonna get it. There's few objections that they have to cover now. The last objection is probably price. Here's a 20% discount, so you purchase it, right? So in the decision phase, the goal here is to make the purchasing as seamless and easy and effortless as possible. So maybe it's creating scarcity or a time-sensitive email where it's like, if you're selling a service, for example, or I'm selling a digital product, okay, I'm only going to sell this course for 24 hours. If you don't get it now, you're never gonna get it, that kind of thing. Or if it's a retargeted ad, it's an ad that has a 24-hour discount. Use this code now within the next 24 hours or you don't get the discount, for example. And again, you wanna simplify the actual checkout process in this decision phase. So making sure that they could pay with multiple payment methods. For example, if you're selling a large ticket course, you might notice that people offer payment plans. So if someone is really nervous about spending $1,000, they can pay in increments of $100 or $200, for example. That's why platforms like Afterpay and all the other equivalent platforms were super smart, because now companies are for sure going to want to add that onto their stores, so it increases chances of people purchasing because they can pay in increments. Not necessarily a good thing that people are buying things they don't have money for, but you get the point. The goal at this stage is to make it as seamless and easy and effortless as possible for people to say, hey, okay, I will purchase. So you want to make that process easy for them, and these methods allow that to happen. Next, at the bottom of the funnel, you have the satisfaction phase. So this is post-purchase. This is after somebody makes a decision to buy something from you. Your goal is to make them as happy as possible. So that's where very good brand packaging, a good delivery service comes in. If it's a service, for example, a good onboarding process, a quick win, so they feel dopamine that, okay, I made this investment and I've already seen a return on it and it's just been 5 days, something like that. You want to make sure you have a good onboarding process, they have a good experience getting the package, and good customer service moving forward so that people are satisfied at this stage. The goal here is to address any issues proactively, not reactively, before they even happen. So systems are put in place that everything is as seamless as possible. Even if a situation happens, it can be easily, you want to make sure you have systems in place to make sure that they can be fixed ASAP, so that at the end of the day, your customer is satisfied with their purchase. So at the satisfaction phase, let's say I was selling a course, or let's say I was selling a service to a client. If it was a service, I would make sure I get them onboarded smoothly and make sure the onboarding process was super easy, didn't stress them out. I would make sure, like for the example, the quick win example, I was able to come in, let's say I was helping them with their ads, I was able to come in and make an ad that maybe got them a quick win, or was some sort of like low-hanging fruit thing that fixed a problem they were having or answered a question they've really been needing help with. Or again, if it was a course, similar things, onboarding properly, or it's really formatted in a way that's professional, that's simple, that's easy. They are really happy with how things are looking. They just started and they're like, wow, I've already learned so much. It's only been 10 minutes into it, that sort of thing. So satisfaction phase is all about really making sure your customers are happy. Okay, and the next phase is the what you would call champion phase. So this phase is where as long as everything went smoothly, they're happy. So now we want them to advocate for your brand, to bring new people to the top of the funnel, to go down the funnel. So in the champion phase, you are sharing information about your product or service that is easy enough for people that have gone down the funnel to regurgitate and share your product with others through word of mouth or on their social media. You basically want them to market for you. So you might share bite-sized benefits of information. You might give affiliate links, or you might tell them if you get if you get a friend to sign up, your next purchase can be $50 off. You give them incentives. So there's different ways that you can get people to outwardly champion your product, although people will do that naturally if everything down the phase went well. You're just making that down the funnel went well. You're just making it a little bit easier for them by providing them with the information or elements or things they need to do so. This is a very niche example, but a lot of publication companies for books these days really focus on how the aesthetic of the book looks in terms of how it will look on social media or on Instagram stories or on Snapchat in regards to the demographic and the aesthetic of the people that are highly likely to purchase the book. So that way, if someone really likes a book, they'll post about it and it'll be very distinctive and interesting and memorable for people. So that way they're marketing the book by just like posting it. The book doesn't look memorable or isn't interesting or doesn't fit the aesthetic of the type of people, then it becomes harder for people who have gone down the funnel to champion the product. Hopefully that makes sense. A good example here is my planner that I have from Grace Beverly, productivity planner. I always have it in my Instagram stories if I'm posting like a behind the scenes of my day or my work, because it looks good, it matches the aesthetic that I like, and I think it just elevates the photos that I post. I really like the planner itself. I went through the satisfaction phase, everything is good. So now I'm a champion of the product because it looks good and it's easy for me to break down and explain why the planner is good, because I gather a lot of information through their social media channels about, for example, why they built the planner, why we like it so much, so then I can regurgitate that information. I probably have gotten 5 to 10 people to purchase this just from word of mouth and posting it on Instagram because I love it and use it so much. And this is, I think, my 4th planner from the productivity method. So we broke down the whole funnel. Now I'm going to talk about how funnels can differ. So for example, as I mentioned, with the creator economy, using platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as a creator who has a brand. So whether it's a brand that has someone as the face of it, or it's someone like me who has like a personal brand, the funnel can be a lot shorter because, as you can see, each part of the funnel is meant to create different emotions and trigger different things within people to eventually click purchase. With the kind of impulse buying and connection that people can build and parasocial relationships people can build through social media platforms, the funnels can then be much shorter because you don't need to walk them through all the processes. They just really like this person, or they really trust you because they've consumed so much of your content, because they've consumed so much of your content, they've had so many touch points with you organically that whatever you sell them, they'll just want to buy and will immediately trust you. I can say that, for example, with Grace Beverly. I watch her stories every single day, so it's like I have this relationship where I'm communicating with her every single day, but I'm not. And I know that, obviously I'm a marketer, but it's like I really like her values and what she makes, and I'm an ideal customer for the product she sells alongside the planner. She has an activewear brand that, again, I'm an ideal customer for. So I've had so many touch points. If she releases a shirt and says it's built this specific way to make you look XYZ, I'm gonna trust it and I'm gonna buy it because of this relationship. So within the creator economy, and especially within social media platforms, the funnel can be much shorter and a lot of the parts can be moved around or taken out completely. And then for higher value, more expensive luxury products, the funnel might need to be a little bit more extensive, or maybe not more extensive, but a phase might be longer. So think of a luxury car, for example. They might offer you a test drive, or for example, the SaaS products that I mentioned. So if you want to maybe try out Slack or what other platforms are there? Loom, or like an AdSpy software. They might give you a month-long discount. Honeybook is a good example. As a freelancer, when I first started, I had my home base for my clients on Honeybook, and they had a great deal, which I think it was $1 a month for like 6 months. It was something crazy and it was great. Honeybook covered everything I absolutely needed. So when it was done and they were like, okay, well, it's 60 USD a month now, I would pay that in a heartbeat because it was so worth it. And I had already built up all of my clientele and systems and processes on that platform. But at the same time, I could also just be like, you know what? I really, really like this platform, but $60 isn't in my budget. So I'm going to move on to a different platform or something like that. And that means the consideration phase would end that way, right? But then I might go and I might not find anything equivalent with the things that I've gained to like over the past, let's say 3 to 5 months using Honeybook. So I might come back. So you can see there, the consideration phase is extended much longer. And then again, for services that are more high ticket, you might need to build up more credibility and trust. So for example, anything that's super high ticket, so consulting services or like renovation or anything like that, you might need more content marketing at the top of your funnel with more value, information, and stuff like that to really build authority in the space. So for example, with me, I would say that I fit into that category. Higher ticket services for brands that are already established will require me to build more credibility and trust within the space, which means putting myself out there more and building better case studies and all of the above. And this also could require, for example, free consultations or demos to get people to warm up to you and who you are. So now that you know about the funnel and how it could differ in different areas, why is it so important? The funnel is important because with digital marketing tools, you can track data and metrics and tweak your funnel to get the highest chances of people going through the entire funnel and purchasing and continuing to loop it and get more people to enter and continue the process of building your brand. If you've watched my What is Digital Marketing video, I break down the most common forms of digital marketing, and within each part of the funnel, specialists are required in each part. So for example, email marketing might be a big part of the evaluation phase, and there's people that specialize in email marketing. In the engagement phase, you might want to post more content. In the first stage, you might want to use different mediums like search engine optimization for the most amount of people to become aware of your brand or service. So that would require a search engine optimization specialist, for example. And each person is qualified to increase the chances of the most amount of people going through their specific section and moving lower and lower and lower down your funnel. The funnel is important because it allows you to strategize and optimize the journey of people finding you and purchasing from you. Without a systemized funnel, you're kind of just throwing things at the wall and hoping it sticks, hoping it works. Whereas if you have a funnel in place, you can start to see holes and issues and tweak different areas and optimize different parts of your funnel to get the most amount of sales possible. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you did, consider subscribing and signing up for my free newsletter, The Digital Marketing Diaries, which you can find in the description, and we'll talk soon.